So we've been exploring some board game tactica, and we've been talking about analyzing the rules and building a framework within that. And that opened up an interesting question. When you're playing a board game, what happens if you forget a rule? How do you handle that? A perfect example was a recent game of Conan, and we were playing with one of the expansions where you fight these giant scorpions. Of course they're going to be poisoned. So they have poison effects. When they attack you and you take damage, you're poisoned, and that affects your economy of movement and management. So I'm there as the overlord, just blasting, stinging everything away, and the players are taking damage. Love Conan, fantastic game. We realize like 2 turns later, wait, you guys haven't been applying the poison damage. And what's interesting in Conan is, just to framework it, it is a game where you have a number of action points that you can utilize. How many you utilize is up to you. If you run out of action points, you die. And every turn, depending on what you're doing, you regain action points. So literally, and they can also be used out of sequence. This is what makes Conan feeling more like a movie than a board game. I can move, spend an action point, and move. Then I can attack, spend an action point. Then I can decide, I'm going to attack again, spend an action point. Then I can pause. You can move, spend an action point. Then I can throw you my axe. I can toss you my axe, spending an action point, and you grab it. Then I can move again. I can open objects, throw objects, push objects. So you could play Conan turn 1 and literally go in and make multiple attacks and just blast everything. But then you're gassed out for like the next couple of turns and could potentially be killed. So within that framework of managing these action points, poison is going to sap your recovery more. We forgot 2 turns. What do we do? So I play the rule whenever I forget a rule. As soon as we realize that, we don't go back, because to go back, it's going to take forever to figure things out. Would it change things? Would it make a difference? Yeah, it might have with this poison from the scorpions, but okay, whatever. We just pick up where we are. There's been times when I'm playing Mage Knight, either solo or with the group. I think we're playing Mage Knight, right? All these years later, it seems like we're playing Mage Knight, right? But sometimes we'll forget a rule, and at that point, as soon as we remember it, keep going. So I don't want to get bogged down and backtrack and undo and figure things out. Just, okay, we forgot, continue moving ahead. So second question would be, and this is now where we kind of get into house rules and things like that. How do you handle, out of curiosity, how do you handle drawing the wrong card in the game? Recent example, we're playing Runebound. We had an awesome Sunday of Runebound. Could not have been a better day. Got in a game of Runebound 2nd edition, got in a game of 3rd edition. It was great. But in Runebound 2nd edition, over on the side of the board, I always appreciate board games that have spaces for the tokens and the cards. It keeps it organized, especially if it's a card or token-based game where all the players are routinely drawing from different decks. It's nice to have things centralized. But essentially, you have a spot for green, yellow, purple, and red cards. These are encounters and quests. You land on a space in Runebound, you draw the appropriately colored card. Those cards reflect how challenging it is. Green encounters are easy. Red encounters are endgame. So you have those. Then you've got a deck for the market. You go into one of the cities, you go into one of the towns, you shop, you draw items. The market deck is items and various goods and followers to hire. And then there's a space for card effects. As you draw quests or as the land changes with what's going on, those are there. So within that framework, sometimes you'll be playing and, okay, I'm on a yellow encounter, and just for whatever reason, right, you're looking at all of your gear and your synergies, and you go to draw a yellow encounter card, but you draw the market deck, right? How do we handle that? Well, the way I handle it is if you've drawn it and it's wrong, that's okay, but it gets discarded because now it's common knowledge for everyone. If it's hidden knowledge, that's fine, right? I would hate to have you drawing a yellow encounter and you just kind of reach over and then you grab a green encounter, flip the card, realize, oh, I drew the wrong one and put it back. Well, if I've seen that now, I might want to go that green encounter because it's advantageous to me, right? Unknown versus known. If you draw the item deck and it's a mistake, well, now I know that item is going to spawn no longer randomly in this appropriate city. So we want to keep the knowledge hidden so everyone can make those same choices based on what has been revealed on the board. So if you draw the wrong card, and this might go even for if you have a pool of power cards, play this with various games where you have to draw from different decks. I draw from the wrong deck. Well, then cycle, put it back on the bottom of the deck. Or if it's a personal deck for your character, right, shuffle up all the cards. So this way it's randomized. That does lead to some interesting things where, and again, this is completely by accident, right? Accidents happen, whatever. It's just a game where I'm saving up gold. This did happen in a runebound game. I'm saving up gold. I'm going to buy a powerful artifact as soon as it appears. There's maybe like 6 or 7 in the deck. So when one spawns, you need 10 plus gold pieces to purchase it. I'm ready to go. Someone actually drew that artifact by accident and was like, oh, I didn't mean to draw this card. I was going to draw one of the purple cards. Well, that's it. Goes down on the bottom of the deck. And I was like, what? Oh, that was the next card, right? We just keep moving on. So out of curiosity, doing this board gaming thing, when you make a mistake, when you draw the wrong card, when you misinterpret a rule and you realize it, how do you handle it? How do you implement it in the game?